हेलो एवरीवन। कुछ दिन पहले एनवीडिया ने 30 सीरीज़ के ग्राफिक्स कार्ड लॉन्च किए थे और ये हर गेमर के लिए एक बहुत ही एक्साइटिंग न्यूज़ थी, क्योंकि जो उन लोग ने ऑफरिंग्स दिखाए थे, जो एंट्री लेवल का कार्ड है स्पेशली $500 में 3070, guaranteeing the performance that would be as good as a 2080 Ti right now. So that's basically the performance of a top tier card for half the price at entry level. बहुत ही एक्साइटिंग न्यूज़ है and it's something that has not happened very often, जहाँ पे तुम्हारा entry level cards are actually matching the performance of the previous gen top tier cards, and it's natural for all gamers to be excited about this news. And as a content creator, even I am very excited about this. If given the chance to upgrade right now, I would still not do it. मैं इनफैक्ट थोड़ा और टाइम वेट करूँगा, और इन सब के रीजंस मैं इस वीडियो में देना चाहता हूँ कि मैं क्यों इमीडिएटली अपग्रेड नहीं करना चाहूँगा. द फर्स्ट रीज़न बीइंग driver stability. This is a new technology made on a new process and a new architecture, and you don't need to go too far back. अगर आप देखोगे जब RTX सीरीज़ के कार्ड लॉन्च हुए थे, या उसके थोड़ा पहले 10 सीरीज़ के, या उसके थोड़ा और पहले जब AMD ने Ryzen प्रोसेसर्स लॉन्च किए थे, इन सब के लॉन्चेस में इनिशियली पहले 1-2 महीनों के लिए there were some issues where some applications would not run properly with them, and there were issues of it being stable, and a lot of bugs as well were identified during that time. तो अगर आपका ऐसा कोई काम है जहाँ पे the GPU is a critical component inside your workflow, then you don't want to upgrade immediately. You want to wait for a while, because अभी अगर तुम कोई भी एप्लीकेशन देखोगे, जैसे फोटोशॉप है या फिर कोई एडिटिंग का सॉफ्टवेयर है, now these have been there for so long with the existing graphics cards that जो भी bugs थे या जो भी driver issues थे वो resolve हो चुके हैं already. And the moment you move to a new graphics card, it will take a good amount of time for all of these bugs to be identified. And you don't want कि तुम कोई critical काम कर रहे हो, जैसे कि वीडियो एडिट कर रहे हो, या फिर Fortnite के competitive में तुम final round में हो, and all of a sudden your game crashes or your application crashes and you've lost your edit. You don't want that to happen. So I would wait for the first 1 or 2 months before actually deciding on whether to go ahead with it or not. Because within that time they would come up with driver updates, and we'll be able to see how this graphic card performs with the current applications that are there. Do they have any issues? Are there any bugs? And if it can be stable or not. The second reason is their cooling system. Now a traditional graphics card वो कैसे वर्क करता है? Just take this remote control and I'll explain to you. Assume करो ये fans है यहाँ पे with the traditional card which are like in the market right now. So the way they function is they take the fresh air from the bottom of the fan. I mean, this is how you place your graphics card, right? Unless vertically आप place करो. So this is how it will take the air drafts in, clean air यहाँ से लेगा, fresh air यहाँ से लेगा, और वो केस के बाहर उसे एग्जॉस्ट कर देगा. दिस इज द कन्वेंशनल कार्ड राइट नाउ. लेकिन इसमें अभी उन लोग ने चेंज किया है. दे हैव अ फ्लो थ्रू मॉडल. फ्लो थ्रू मॉडल में क्या है? देयर आर 2 फैंस, एंड द फर्स्ट फैन स्टिल वर्क्स कन्वेंशनली, टेक्स फ्रेश एयर फ्रॉम हियर एंड एग्जॉस्ट इट आउटसाइड द केस. लेकिन जो दूसरा फैन है वो केस के अंदर से फ्रेश एयर लेकर ऊपर की तरफ उसे एग्जॉस्ट करेगा. एंड इफ यू अज्यूम दैट दिस इज योर मदरबोर्ड, तो व्हाट वुड हैपन इज दैट यहाँ पे आपका CPU रहेगा, यहाँ कहीं CPU रहेगा, और यहाँ पे आपके RAM के मॉड्यूल्स रहेंगे, और यहाँ पे VRM के मॉड्यूल्स रहेंगे which regulate the voltage that the motherboard sends to the CPU. Now these 2 components, or 3 components in fact, the RAM, the VRMs and the CPU, they like to stay cool. So with the flow through model what will happen is the hot air from the GPU वो यहाँ पर ऊपर आएगा, और अगर आपका यहाँ पे CPU का एयर कूलिंग है तो जो भी एग्जॉस्ट होकर आएगा एयर GPU पे से वो आपका CPU का कूलर बाहर निकाल देगा. नाउ since these components want to stay cool, I don't know what the long term impact of this is going to be, and इसके लिए I would wait for some more technical reviews जहाँ पे stress test किया जाएगा, where they will review this in more detail and see what the impact of this cooling system is on your CPU and on the VRAM and on the RAM. And this is also going to decide कि आपका केस कौन सा है, क्योंकि हर किसी के केस में टॉप एग्जॉस्ट नहीं है. तो अगर आपका टॉप एग्जॉस्ट है तो ठीक है, मे बी दिस माइट एक्चुअली वर्क फाइन, क्योंकि इट विल जस्ट फ्लो इन अ स्ट्रेट लाइन एंड गेट आउट. फ्रॉम द टॉप. लेकिन अगर आपके केस में टॉप एग्जॉस्ट नहीं है एंड इट्स जस्ट अ कन्वेंशनल फ्लो थ्रू वेयर आगे से फ्रेश एयर आ रहा है और पीछे से एग्जॉस्ट हो रहा है, then this might actually put stress on your CPU and heat it up. So this will also change the way you choose your case. And talking about choosing the cases, if you look at the AIB models, AIB मतलब add-in boards जैसे Asus है या Gigabyte है या Zotac है, recently they also did press releases and launched photographs of their model, of their versions of the same GPU. और अगर तुम इन सबके GPUs देखोगे तो they are very beefy and thick. I mean 3 slots है in fact most of them, and that's just the thickness. Even the width is quite high and the length is also a lot. So this is not going to fit in every PC case. In fact there are a lot of large PC cases जहाँ पे इस डायमेंशन के कार्ड्स नहीं फिट हो पाएंगे. स्पेशली द 3 स्लॉट का जो थिकनेस है वो हर केस में नहीं होता है. एंड इफ़ यू हैव लाइक एन ITX केस or an METX case जो like medium sized है, it will probably not be able to fit in that, and that's something that you need to consider when you are buying these cards कि आपका केस क्या है, केस का चॉइस. and this brings back to what is the cost of actually getting these cards, क्योंकि the cards themselves I am expecting them to be sold at higher than what the MRP is, क्योंकि 10 series के साथ भी वही हुआ था. So I'm expecting इसमें you will have to pay maybe $50 or $100 more for each card. And also the way that Nvidia has positioned it right now, इसमें they don't have any pre-orders, and this is something that is going to play into the hands of the retailers, क्योंकि the retailers know कि इस कार्ड का डिमांड ज़्यादा है and they are going to price it a lot higher than what the MRP is. And I think it would be fine if you miss the first 1 or 2 months of inventory. Coming back to my point, the cost of getting this card would not only be कि कार्ड का cost क्या है, because you might actually have to end up buying a newer case with a top exhaust and with the dimensions that will fit this card in. That's just the case. If you also look at the power requirement, the power requirements are very high compared to the previous gen cards. In fact, they are like around between 300 to 350 watts ka power requirement hai. Then means that you need to get a better PSU. You might not be able to get away with a 500 watt PSU. You'll need 750 watts or more this time. And even the case, when you're looking at it, it's not only the top exhaust, it's also its air cooling performance that you'll have to look at. Another point that I am concerned about is whether the i5 and the Ryzen 5, will these be able to extract the full performance of this GPU? Because currently if you're looking at running at 2080 Ti with an i5, your CPU will be the bottleneck. Now Nvidia has said that there is a new technology that they are launching in this. It's similar to what the Xbox and the PlayStation 5 are doing, जिसमें the GPU will take all the game content from the storage and process it directly. Normally क्या होता है कि गेम का content storage में से जाके processor में जाता है and the processor processes it and then sends it to the GPU. Now if the GPU is going to do this directly, it will be much faster, you will have better loading times, and that would take out the load on the CPU and free up your CPU. So yes, if this is going to free up the CPU, it might work with an i5 and you might be able to get the full performance, but we don't know that and we have to wait for benchmarks for that. So there are a lot of these things that need to be known. You don't know whether you need a new motherboard, whether you need a new PSU, whether you need a new CPU, and that's why I'm saying just wait for the reviews to come out. We don't even know what its gaming performance is going to be, because they have said it performs as good as a 2080 Ti, but does that mean in gaming, in RTX, in simulations? We don't know that. So let's wait. इसीलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ. And the most important reason for me to summarize is the stability issue. So to conclude, I would say wait for a while. Let's see how these cards benchmark, how they perform, और ये कितने बड़े हैं, and how can they fit inside a case, what is the impact on cooling, on the CPU, what all things do you need to consider when buying these cards. And even though I am also very excited about the card, as I said, I would still wait for some time and wait for all the YouTubers to come out with their benchmarks, with their reviews, see what the actual gaming performance is, because that's what really matters for every gamer, and then take a call on whether to go ahead with this card or not. So that brings us to the end of this video. अगर आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आया then hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed then please subscribe, and if you have subscribed then please hit the notification bell if you haven't. So that will let you know every time I upload a new video. So thanks for watching. Until next time, see you. Bye.